but that's the name of the Roman. There were two possible names for the Roman. Amphitheatrum Stadium or Amphitheatrum. The Latin is called Tessera. And on the card they had the number of the arch through which they were supposed to go. So this was a very clever way to tell to people in advance where to go to avoid long lines.
For memory reasons and memory limitations in the game, what we've decided is to change the shape from elliptical to perfect circle. This is simply to allow us to have only three similar shapes, similar volumes that we can repeat all around to make this whole building. It's exactly like in a pie. In a pie you can have the same shape that you can repeat to have the whole volume. One of the other things is about the Constantine arch. Also for memory reasons, we've decided to have only one building, one arch, and repeat it for all the other arches, like the arches of Titus that is like
Alright, so in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, our main protagonist, Ezio Auditore, has to face off against Cesare Borgia. But Cesare is way too strong to face off against alone. He's got several other major lieutenants and power players in the city that you're going to have to take down as Ezio before you can actually face off against Cesare. And so, in this case, Ezio has to get inside the Castle San Angelo, which is an impregnable fortress that you're going to see at the end of our tour. It's very, very secure. So, and in this case, Ezio needs a key to a hidden doorway in order to get in. However, that key is not easily accessible either, because the only person who has it, other than the members of the Borgia family, is this actor that Lucrezia Borgia is kind of cavorting around with. And the actor happens to be performing in a play that is happening somewhere in the city, but Ezio doesn't know where. And it also turns out that Cesare Borgia, being a very jealous, slightly manic, crazy brother, decides that anyone who fools around with Lucrezia has to die. And so he sends his most trusted assassin, Micheletto, to go kill the actor Pietro. So you, as Ezio, tail Micheletto towards Pietro's location to try to discover where he is, so that you can get the key from him before Micheletto kills him. And as you tail him, you realize, oh my god, the play takes place inside the Colosseum. And as Muhammad said, that is historically accurate at this time period in history. Passion plays were performed inside the Colosseum, and we have a transcript of one from the 15th century that we base the play on. So when you are kind of infiltrating the Colosseum, you will get to see this play going on in the background, and it's accurate to the era. So it's a pretty exciting mission, and hopefully you'll get to play it, but if not, you'll play it when the game is released.
Area on the arena. So all the center is covered with the rock, mud, or sand. So it's all flat in the game, and also as it was in the Renaissance time. And as I said, there are a lot of vagabonds squatting through the arches. They have their small wooden houses, and in the game it gives a totally different, interesting ambience and atmosphere compared to all thousands of tourists we see in the building.
So as Ezio, when you enter this mission, because the play is going on, there are guards protecting the entrances and protecting the people watching the game, so the vagabonds have been scared off of the mission. And you're going to get to approach not from the doorways, but of course by climbing into the Colosseum from up above, and you have to ensure that the play which is going on is not disrupted in your pursuit of Pietro, otherwise Micheletto will kill him. So it's an infiltration mission, and you'll get a very different view of the Colosseum than you do here in this line of tours with fences. You will be really experiencing the building from a new angle.
Yeah, no trade union. Guido was an incentive.
That Cesare has a banker who funds all of his warfare in Romagna, the part of Italy to the north, above Florence. And so no one knows the identity of this banker. The banker is very elusive and he's very powerful. And so he has to find someone who can disclose the identity or can lead him to the banker so he knows who to take out in order to cut Cesare's funding. He finds out that there is a senator who owes money to the banker, and in this time, in the beginning, in the Renaissance in the 1500s, the Senate basically was almost non-existent, and everything was ruled by the Pope in the Vatican, and so the Senate and kind of the Imperial Romani, all they did was basically throw parades. Like the Pope gave them the entertainment budget, so they basically like throw parades and they'd put on pageants, and so or deal with the lengths of sleeves of women, because in the Renaissance, if your sleeve was too long as a woman, that was offensive and you were being ostentatious. So they'd regulate things like that, left to kind of small municipal regulation. So the senator really believed in changing Rome and helping Rome, and then as they lost more and more power, he became more and more depressed, and he started drinking and gambling and basically ended up in debt to the banker. And so you come to Capitoline Hills, to the Campidoglio, where the Senate became part of the government back in the Renaissance, and they still are today. You find him here being bullied by Cesare's guards who work for the banker to try to get the money from him, and they finally have their last straw and they're going to kill him. So you have to prevent that from happening, and then help this jaded senator escape, and then tail him towards the location of the banker. And we're going to continue on this journey once we get to the Pantheon, and you'll get to see, I'll talk about the later part of that mission where your meeting with the senator continues. Also, in the PS3 exclusive that's released only for Sony's PlayStation, there's a sequence of missions that involve Copernicus, who is here visiting the Vatican and studying. There's a lunar eclipse that happens in 1500s. And so he's here kind of teaching the public, and he goes kind of from square to square in Rome, talking about mathematics and about science and the process of science. And someone at the Vatican, very powerful, who you're going to meet in the sequence of missions, decides that all the scientists have to be stopped because they're convincing the people that the church is not as important, that science is more important. And so Copernicus is and a bunch of other scholars are in trouble, and you meet Copernicus here, and you have to help him save the other scholars, and then ultimately you'll have to save Copernicus himself.